2014. It is October 19th. I've got the controller, the industrial controller from Netgain, running, and we are going to go through, I think, that feels like it's reverse. It's so hard to get into. So that's fifth. We're going to try just leave it in fourth. So, turn on high voltage. We got a 36 volt pack down here. It's got up to two contactors, two Gigavac EV200s, an isolation switch, a 300 amp fuse. We have the wiring harness split out onto binding posts, little bolts, just so that I have access to them and I can put things on and off fairly easily. We got a couple of switches over here. One of them is an ignition switch. The other one is supposed to be a start switch, but it's a maintain switch instead. We'll make do. And then we have an interface module here from Netgain, which is a way to see what's going on in the system, as well as the throttle, which is actually designed to be used on the cable pull on an existing accelerator pedal, but you can just turn it. It works fine. So we're going to, we have the high voltage on. We're going to turn the key to on the car. We've got a fault code, which I haven't been able to clear yet. It's an error on the limits for the throttle. We're going to clear it. It's been cleared. And I have a blinking green light, which says that we are ready to start. And of course, I let go of the throttle and I got my error back. 1 second. Okay, we've cleared the errors. I'm going to have to rotate this. That clicking noise is this contactor comes on and off, this one comes on and off in some sort of a sequence. It does the pre-charge and the controller's happy. We have a fault code still on the controller, but since we've started, it's going to let me operate it. So we're going to take the accelerator and we are going to give it some juice. Well, I guess I'm going to go back here. I've got 39 volts on my battery pack, and I'm just going to give it some throttle. 21, 22, 35 amps, 40. Oh, that didn't work very well. Okay, well, I guess I got to come up with a better way to block the axle, keep it just rotating in one place. And I will continue the video from there when I fix it. We are back to the position we were. That one's secured a little bit better. I didn't modify this side. It looked like it was working okay. So we have 39 battery voltage, 38 volts on the battery pack. We're at 46 amps and we're just starting to turn. 50 amps. We're only up to 7 volts in the motor. 8 volts. And we're moving pretty good in terms of RPM. This is 12 volts. 12 volts and 50 amps. This side fell over, so I guess I have some more fixing to do. But I guess that was just a demonstration run. I just wanted to make sure everything was working okay. That's going to be the maximum torque is in 5th gear. I'll put it in 1st gear and we'll compare it to the next one. Okay, we are in 4th gear. We will drop down to 1st, or what I believe is 1st. I guess we'll see. We're still powered up and everything is looking good. We're at 30, 40, 50 amps. 40 amps, 45 amps. 20 volts. I was wondering whether I had gotten around to setting this motor and transmission vertical and loosen off the bolts and let the motor center. I didn't see it on my video, so I'm pretty sure I didn't get it done. That noise inside there sounds like something's not lined up very well to me. Or sounds to me like something's not lined up very well. A slightly different view, a little bit more of a view of the motor. You see there's a pan underneath. The seal on this side appears to be leaking. I've smacked it a couple of times, and it appears to be the culprit. The other side is clean and dry, or dirty and dry, but at least not wet, I guess is the way to describe it. So the transmission isn't completely full of oil. It's down probably half a liter or so, because that's what's has leaked out. But I think it's far more of a problem that the transmission and the coupler and the motor aren't all aligned. So I'm going to have to get this thing hoisted on end and then run it for a little bit with the bolts loosened off to let the transmission and the motor center and find some place that's mutually acceptable to them. That's probably going to end up dumping most of my oil out and making a big mess. The other thing is I have to lift it high enough and set it on something so that this axle is kept relatively straight, because there's going to be some. Actually, I can do that in neutral, I think. I don't remember where I did that in neutral or whether I did that in gear for the Mazda. I believe I did it in neutral because I didn't have anything connected to the steering linkage. In any case, it looks like that is my next step for the electric motor module, is to get the transmission and motor coupled with a little bit better alignment. And I've got the controller set up for a limited number of amps and a limited amount of voltage that I'm told is appropriate for this motor. Also for the motor in my vehicle. So I guess the next test is to hook up my lithium pack and see if it does approximately the same thing. So just to make sure that it's not the transmission making the noise that I've been hearing, I'm going to put the transmission into neutral, so it won't be driving the output shafts. And I'm still on and ready to rock with the controller. So we'll give it we'll turn it, and if I still hear the noise, then we'll know it's the transmission to the motor. 1930. That's the noise. As you can see, the transmission isn't engaged. It's just that it is. I guess it's just turning because there is some friction within the system. In any case, that noise tells me that the problem I'm having is the motor to the transmission and the coupler in there. So